first off, Claudia.
Oh, hey. Hello, you guys. I'm Claudia Servan. I play Vela in Vela short films. I'm from Venezuela and I'm living here in Sherman Oaks in Los Angeles, California.
And Claudia is also an executive producer in the film, and we're married. We've been married for a while now. It's great to have such an artistically compatible partner in life. And well, I'm Sandro Morales. I'm the executive producer of Vela. I co-wrote it with Diana Gauthier, our director, and Lino Ocando, our sound guy. And I'm also the composer of the score. And I said executive producer already, yeah. So
You
yeah,
did, yeah. And and as the co-writer, I just want to say that one of my first notes to praise you, because it's my job. If we had gotten to watch this at the Whitefire Theater here in Sherman Oaks, you know, there would have been an audience, and of course we always make sure the first thing is everyone tells you all the wonderful things in your work. But I mean, the fact that a 10-minute film feels like a David Lean epic. Um, Besides, obviously, the cinematography is obviously mind-blowing, but the storytelling, the screenwriting here, such efficiency of storytelling, of dialogue. I mean, I feel like this is a story that could have easily been a wonderful feature film, and yet you tell it in 10 minutes with sparse words, and yet a complete story in 3 languages. The path of Vela's life is communicated wonderfully. I just think you and your co-writer did an incredible job even before you got to all the beautiful technical things that are beautiful about this film.
thank you, Jeff. No, I appreciate it. It's so great to hear you say that. It's my first film as a writer. Um, I've been working here in LA and living in Sherman Oaks for the past 10 years as a film composer and TV composer. That's my day job. I'm lucky to have. And it was an idea of ours, a sort of a passion project kind of thing, that we wanted to shoot a film in Venezuela, where we're originally from. And we, like, talking about it, we kind of came up with the idea of telling the story about an immigrant and how living in a different country can completely change you in a way, but a big part of you stays the same, so it's that kind of dichotomy that we wanted to touch as a theme in the film. But then, like, we partnered up with Diana, who's an amazing director in Venezuela. She's been very successful with her films, and we're lucky to have her as a friend, from before. So I think it's a testament of her talent as a storyteller, what you're saying, about the economy of the script, because being my first film, and being, Claudia, the star, someone I admire so much, and she's my wife, I want, my instinct was, to overwrite. Like, I'm being honest, like, it was my first film. I'm like, I want to put so much dialogue in it. I want to, like, tell all these things. And she's like, no, let's tell the story with images, let's show and not tell. Let's, not underestimate the audience, and let's, let them figure out what's going on by themselves. And that's going to make for a much more, interesting and beautiful story, especially since we are recording literally in the middle of nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
if you want me to talk about it, because it's super interesting. I mean, we went to we were staying in a city called Carora in Lara State in Venezuela, which is a very musical
It's more like a town.
it's a town. It's not a
Town.
city.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. And it's like
Yeah.
the musical capital of Venezuela. Like, most of the traditional music comes from there, like the traditional cuatro, which is our traditional string instrument, comes from that town. Yeah, we have the cuatro. I mean, we feature it in the score, but the thing is, we so Carora is a small town. We had to drive 45 minutes outside of Carora to like a road in the middle of nowhere. We had to get out of that road, go through dirt for like 20 minutes, right? To like this desert kind of thing in the middle of nowhere. That house that you see in Vela, it's a real house where the actor Emeterio, who played Vela's father, he actually lived there. And the goats that you see, the pen with the goats, that he's pen with his goats, for real. So unfortunately, Emeterio passed away. Last year, a few months after we shot, and he couldn't see the film, but we're happy, to have been able to capture him there, and yeah, so we do, of course, dedicate the film to him, but yeah.
Yeah, I did notice you dedicated to him. Turning to Claudia, well, and I just want to add that with the economy of screenwriting and stuff, the fact that at first you present us with a Muslim woman, and then and through language we know she's greeting in Arabic, she's speaking in English to obviously her significant other or something, and then the transformation as she shifts to Spanish, and then she shifts to the indigenous language out in the undeveloped part of Venezuela. It's Claudia, it's an amazing performance.
Thank you so much.
It really is, and the different, and the way you're able to show that like a human being has so many sides, particularly an immigrant, but just her different sides just come right through the screen.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was such a journey for me as an immigrant. It's like I feel so related because that's kind of my story. I'm not Muslim, but yeah, I think like I've been like through the same journey as Vela went. So for me, yeah, I kind of like not freak out, but I was like concerned, because I had to speak like 4 different languages. And yeah, and I was like, okay, like I didn't have so much dialogue, but it was 4 different languages. And I was like, okay, let's do this. And as you said, like 4 different faces, because it was like every moment in her life was so different, and I have to show that in less than 10 minutes. And it was beautiful for me because as an immigrant, as a Venezuelan coming, living in the States, and it was like showing and telling like my own story. And I grew up Catholic, not Muslim, but I felt like when I moved to Los Angeles, I kind of left behind like my traditions, not my culture. I mean, I didn't left that behind, but it was like I was trying to figure it out, like, who am I gonna be now? And I think that's the story of Vela, that happened to us because you left everything behind, and you're here in this new country, new language, new new everything. So you have to like discover who you are again.
Yeah.
And
right.
and right now I'm like just embracing everything, of course, like my accent, my language, like my traditions, my culture, and I love everything about that. But when I moved, I didn't know exactly who I was gonna be, because it was overwhelming. I'm from a small town in Venezuela, moving to LA, and I was like, like my English was I didn't speak English, that I was learning, and oh my God. And I think that helped me so much to understand the path of Vela, because it was kind of my path. Yeah. And going back to your country, meeting your like seeing your family again, it's like in this point of my life, I feel like I'm Venezuelan, of course, and I feel like I go there and and it's like I can sometimes I can find myself there, but here I'm an immigrant. It's like I'm not American. You know what I mean? It's like I'm from everywhere and nowhere.
Mhm.
And I feel that's Vela's story. So that definitely helped me a lot to like discover and work on the character and the arc of the character and everything. And it was beautiful. I'm so grateful for Diana and Sandro and the writers, because it was such an amazing writing, like the languages and all the arc and all the stuff with the character. Yeah, thank you so much for
Yeah, and the fact that you have that part of the story, but now she has become a citizen of the world, and she's going back to her indigenous father, really to in an effort to save her mother's life,
Yeah. Yeah.
and does not accomplish that goal. And now she's left, and then the film ends with her mourning. I just think it's such a beautiful story, and it shows how hard it is to be torn between two worlds. I mean, you had the great writing instinct, Sandro, to make this about life and death, really.
I think it's a conversation that we've had constantly with our friends who are immigrants. Um, that you have that fear of, I mean, we moved to LA looking for a dream, like trying to do this thing that we're doing, like that we're lucky to call our job. Um, but at the same time, like the people you leave behind, you live with the constant anxiety that when you go back, it's not going to be the same.
Mhm.
That the place that you come from is going to be changed, that the people you love are not going to be there, or are going to be older, or going to
Gone.
gone. So
Yeah.
so it was in part, or mostly, about that, about trying to express that anxiety and that fear. um yeah.
Wonderfully done. And we haven't even talked about how beautiful. I mean, your director did an amazing job, and I assume as a Venezuela-based director, she knew how she had a wonderful cinematographer to bring in. Sound people did a wonderful job. And obviously you weren't able to scout locations, so all those amazing locations were probably on Diana's side a little, I would assume.
Yeah, we had a great um production um production assistant that is from the area, and he was the one who kind of like, he knew Emeterio, so he knew about his house.
Yeah.
He The language, Gayon, the native language we used, is a language that is no longer in use in and anywhere in the world. Of course, it's local. It was local from that area, but he found the person that is in charge of keeping that language alive. The
Mhm.
curator of the language, and he was our translator
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
script for those parts. But yeah, no, this guy, his name is Luis Linares. He was in charge of like location scouting and just sending us pictures and stuff, and
Yeah,
but
it was.
pretty much everything you see is his first option. Like, the first picture he took I
I
think this
know.
house, and we're like, yes, that's the
Whoa,
place.
yeah.
I think this is great for the start of the film. The bus stop and the tree or whatever, and we're like, yes, that's it. Everything was so beautiful. Yeah, we were sold like right away.
Yeah, and I'm so happy like we had the opportunity to keep, to work with Gayon language, with an
Yeah.
indigenous language, with it's Dayan. And it's like, for me, I feel so grateful we had this opportunity to, to use that. So to keep that alive.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and certainly as an audience member, if someone were to raise their hand in the theater and said to you, it definitely added an element of immediacy and importance, and just the cultural value that, I mean, in the USA, no one's heard of Gayon, the language, and then get to see this woman speak to her father. Um, it's it's such a smart choice as a filmmaker because it's so emotionally compelling to see this and get a glimpse of it.
Yeah. It's all a testament to Diana's vision, really. I wish she could have been here. But yeah, no, it's all, her vision. It, I'm we're super happy to have been able to work with her, and the way, she, like I said, like she managed our ideas for the story, and the way she the I don't know.
She's so artistic.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Her vision. What you see in Vela and all of those special things. It's just her vision. She's an amazing director.
Mhm.
For sure. Please send her all our gratitude for her work and your work. I'm curious before we rank, because we're bumping into our 15-minute self-imposed limit. So does this give you you've had your taste, and now more films, feature films? This idea alone deserves to be expanded upon.
Yeah, for sure. No, we from the start. Once we had the script ready, we had that feeling that we want to make it into a feature. Um, right now, I mean, we're staying together as a team. I'm finishing another short film on my own, so it's going to be my first script 100% written on my own. Let's see how that goes. uh, and then Diana and Lino are in Venezuela writing a feature. It's going to be a thriller, and we're once we have those ready, we're gonna start raising money, and trying to get them made, of course, with Claudia and the whole team.
Yeah, because we want to like keep supporting Venezuelan filmmaking. It's so important because with all the humanitarian crisis going on in Venezuela and around the world, but especially in Venezuela, it's been like the filmmaking. It's right now.
It's a
It's been,
challenge.
yeah, exactly. So even we're living here now, we want to keep helping them and supporting those filmmakers, actors, and artists. They're doing an amazing job with, yeah, it's been hard for them. So that's our goal, keep supporting our people and Venezuelan talent, because
Yeah,
yes,
there's a
we
lot
have to
of
tell our stories.
and there's a lot of talent. I mean,
Yeah.
you can see, like you said, the cinematographer Gabriela Cruz is
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
super super talented. We're so lucky to have him for a short, and then Lino recording the sound. We did have our sound mixer Sal Ojeda. He's also located here in LA. Who's a dear friend of mine, super talented, and it's
Mexican, yeah, he's amazing.
the sound is such an important element in every film, but in this film in
And your
particular.
music, his music is amazing. I love Bella's, right?
I
Oh
mean,
my
yeah.
God, it's such an
So
important
yeah,
song.
no, but yeah, I mean, sound is so important for everything. And for this film, it's a character. I feel, the wind all the time,
It is, it
rustling
is.
the leaves and everything. It's very in a film with such scant dialogue, with so little dialogue. The sound needed to be really special, and I think Lino and Sal did an amazing job.
For sure, everyone did an amazing job. Everyone deserves applause, from the people on screen like Claudia to yeah, the music, obviously everything, just bravo. Everything about this film is beautiful. So thank you so much for submitting it.
Yeah, no,
And
thank you for
thank you
having
for
us.
having us.
And I'm so honored that our most international, the most internet, although we have films from I think 8 or 9 countries, including Russian Federation and Croatia and others. So I'm proud of how international our festival is. But I'm delighted that we have a very international feeling film with the filmmaking team here in Sherman Oaks. That's very cool.
We're Sherman Oaks people.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, hopefully we're going to have our socially distanced mixer over at the Sherman Oaks Galleria. So I hope to meet you there.
for sure.
And it was a pleasure. I'm going to hit stop on this recording now because the film's so great. We could talk another 10 minutes and I have another person coming. So it was a pleasure and thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.